Happy Thanksgiving, true believers. I'm drinking coffee. It's 8:30 in the morning. It's the 24th day of November 2022, which means it's Thanksgiving. It's about 62 degrees and windy with a fire warning here in Site B, because why not? Yesterday, I made a video about the status of the Blade Runner role-playing game Kickstarter, and I may have gone a little too far. So I apologize to Freely Game and anybody who was listening to me. Obviously, there's a lot of other stuff going on in my life right now, so I was just sort of lashing out at a situation I couldn't control, because there's so many situations in my life right now I couldn't control. So I apologize again. If and when it ever shows up, I will be incredibly grateful. But I understand from what people have told me, the amount of time I've been waiting for the Kickstarter to show up is not that unusual. In fact, one guy said he'd been waiting for one for like 4 years. That said, tonight is Thanksgiving, so we'll be leaving the camera on for the promised Steve cam as soon as I figure out the best location to put the camera to give you the best chance of seeing Steve while I am off doing Thanksgiving. So if you have nothing else to do tonight, if you're home alone and looking for something that might cheer you up, I will have the camera on. I'll have it pointed towards where I think Steve will be and Molly will be. So if you want to see some cats being cats, it'll be on for the whole length of the time that I am out doing whatever Thanksgiving nonsense I do. What are your plans for tonight? And how does that relate to gaming? It doesn't. What's going on in the gaming world today? Is there anything going on? Well, of course, Dragonlance and OneD&D. Because, as we know, in the consistency of the multiverse, the sun will always rise, gravity will always work, water will always be wet, and if it's a day that ends in the letter Y, Wizards of the Coast will do something. So let's check on the status of OneD&D today. OneD&D playtest. Nope, nothing new. So despite rumors that people have put up of seeing the cleric and divine casting playtest up, or the fighter/warrior class playtest up, as of 8:30 on the 24th day of November, nothing has changed on the OneD&D playtest. As regards to the Dragonlance stuff on OneD&D/D&D Beyond, apparently there are individuals out there saying that they have received the physical copy already. Going to OneD&D/D&D Beyond/Wizards of the Coast, we can see that no, they're still counting down till the day when the physical copies will be available for purchase on wizardsofthecoast.com. And whoever they give it to first. Considering Wizards of the Coast Hasbro's deals with different retailers, we will probably see the physical copies first and foremost at Target. And then a day later, or anywhere from a day to a week later, you will see it at the Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, and any friendly local game store lucky enough to get it. No information on how long Dragonlance will be in print, how long the board game will be in print. The miniatures should be showing up on the shelves of your friendly local game store, or of whoever gets miniatures these days, probably by next week, I would think. They've been announced for a while, and the ones for Lord Soth look fucking amazing. Say what you will about anything else about this run. Wow, that Lord Soth figure and the Lord Soth figure on riding the dragon, those look great. But then I did say that we can expect the figures for the skirmish game to be some of the best figures we have seen from WizKids for D&D. If anybody remembers the last time Wizards of the Coast did a skirmish game, I don't remember it. I mean, I know they tried to do Chainmail a while back, but they did one that, was it just called D&D Skirmish? I don't remember. It was about the same time that Star Wars skirmish game was out. The D&D skirmish game on its own never did really well, but the figures were amazing. Unfortunately, I don't believe I have any figures from the run anymore. I had a few, but a whole bunch of my figures were stolen a couple years ago, so I don't think anything in my current collection are from the run, but they were damn good. So I expect the same from the figures for the upcoming Dragonlance skirmish game, but no knows how long they take. So in regards to individuals who are saying they received the physical copy, if they are established reviewers, then yes, they will have received a physical copy from Wizards of the Coast ahead of time so they can post reviews. Like I would do, but I'm not an established reviewer, so I don't get one. But people like Jeannie D, Mark Holmes, Matthew Kilville, those guys, people like that, they will receive copies probably by yesterday or today of the physical copy so they can do reviews. Anybody else who is saying I have a physical copy and blah, they're lying, or maybe they just misunderstood the difference between the digital copy available on D&D Beyond and the physical copy, which will be available sometime in December, I believe, still scheduled for the 12th, unless things have changed. But no, the countdown here is still saying the 12th. So, yeah, that's what's going on. And apparently there is already errata that has been posted to the physical copy. So things on the copy for the digital. Did I say physical? God, I'm gonna make that mistake a lot. I have a feeling. There is a digital copy available on D&D Beyond. There is no physical copy available for you to purchase yet. The only people who will have physical copies are people that Wizards of the Coast have sent to, who are established reviewers, like Mark Holmes, Jeannie D. Anybody else who is saying they have a copy does not have a physical copy. They have the digital copy. And apparently there are already errata and changes to the digital copy within hours of it going up. Which seems a little weird, but okay, let's check. No, I'm not seeing anything. I mean, maybe it's something you have to pay for on D&D Beyond. Yeah, I don't see anything on D&D Beyond about changes or errata. It would be unusual to have errata / changes this soon after they put it out, but it's not unheard of. I mean, that would not bode well for Wizards of the Coast if so quickly after putting the supposedly finished project up, they've already posting errata and rules changes. But yeah, no. Yeah, I can't find anything here about errata. So if there are people out there who are saying that they have errata and there have already been changes to 1D to God, Jesus Christ, Wizards of the Coast, it's going to be hard to keep track of these things. Changes to Dragonlance. I apologize. Maybe it's something you only see that they sent to you if you paid for it and it's not on the site. Again, though, that would be highly unusual for there to be errata and changes that soon after the the digital product went live on D&D Beyond / Wizards of the Coast. So if that's true, that just wow. I don't think that's a good sign. That means, you rushed it to market and then after you realized, oh no, we made a mistake of something that we just went live 20 minutes ago. So, yeah, Dragonlance. Finally, in regards to the never-ending argument over Takesha versus Tiamat, who cares? Margaret Weiss says they're not the same. She created the series. The series predates Wizards of the Coast purchasing a TSR, so you gotta admit, for making a nonsense point that had no reason to be made. It was very clever on Wizards of the Coast part because it's got a lot of people, including myself, talking about Tiamat and Takesha. And sales of Tiamat/Takesha related paraphernalia have increased 1,000-fold since that announcement was made. In fact, I just checked the other day, and the number one selling D&D related t-shirt on Etsy is a D&D t-shirt portraying... I hear a noise, which means the cat has gotten into something it should have gotten into. Kittens, they're so cute. And so yes, anything bearing the resemblance of Tiamat is selling like hotcakes. The number one t-shirt is a Tiamat t-shirt on Etsy/Redbubble/ those kind of things. So, hey, congratulations, Wizards of the Coast. You turned a 5-second meme into a way to bring a lot of attention to the product. And of course, there is a lot of attention being looked at this product because if it fails, it will not bode well for the future of Wizards of the Coast or whatever they have planned in 2023. But if it succeeds, then it's, it gives them a little bit of a lifeline to maybe re-earn some goodwill with its fan base in 2023 before whatever happens in 2024 happens. I recently received a post from someone lambasting me, insulting me, and saying, are you that worried about Wizards of the Coast and folding? No, I don't fucking care if Wizards of the Coast folds. They have not done justice to 5e in the past couple of years, but just because I bag on them all the time doesn't mean I want people to lose their jobs. Doesn't mean I want anything bad to happen to people, and I certainly have nothing against 5th edition, the engine, as you know. I love the 5e engine. I love Dungeons & Dragons. I am just not a fan of 5e for D&D. I ran my first 5e adventure in a long time yesterday, and I can just tell you, there's so many options, there's so much stuff, there's so many things in the player's affairs, there's so many ideas that just don't work in 5e when people are attempting to do things. There's constantly like, can I do this? Oh, wait, that doesn't work. Oh, I have to rethink that. And after this many years of people playing it, it should run as smoothly as any other edition of any other game for any other genre. But the fact, even, as of yesterday, and yeah, I'm rusty, so obviously some of it, but I was playing with 3 people who all knew 5e extremely well, and still that grind of having to look things up, having to make sure things actually, it doesn't work for a game like D&D, but it works great for other games, had Wizards of the Coast handled things differently, using 5e in the setting of Spelljammer or Eberron, or some other type of setting that is much more Saturday morning cartoon themed, much more over the top, much more not as concerned with the mechanics of a pulp fantasy like D&D, probably would have worked a lot better, despite the politics. So yeah, I don't want anything to happen to the people who work at Wizards of the Coast. Obviously, I don't want people to lose their jobs. I'm perfectly fine with 5th edition the way it runs. I love it. I think there's plenty of genres 5th edition would work great with, and I'm very excited to see what the industry is going to do if the rumors are true about how Hasbro/Wizards of the Coast are going to handle the OneD&D SRD in 2024. But yeah, no. Am I concerned of what Hasbro will do to Wizards of the Coast if these things keep happening? I think I've already called it, that they're going to restructure it again, as they have been since 2020. That should come as no surprise to anybody who's been watching and paying attention to how Hasbro has been slowly restructuring Wizards of the Coast. Again, remember, Hasbro doesn't need Wizards of the Coast. Hasbro can continue to make Magic cards without Wizards of the Coast. Hasbro can continue to make Dungeons & Dragons without Wizards of the Coast. Hasbro can continue to make board games, figures, video games, all without Wizards of the Coast. Wizards of the Coast really serves no purpose to Hasbro other than being Wizards of the Coast. So yeah, all the licenses that Wizards of the Coast have, Hasbro could easily continue without Wizards of the Coast. So no, I don't think they'll, we'll wake up tomorrow and read Wizards of the Coast gone, 500 employees homeless. No, I think we'll continue to restructure. We will continue to see members of the Wizards of the Coast staff replaced by individuals who have more experience in the digital media world, from more Microsoft and other employees, more bean counters, more people who actually understand how to run this type of franchise without getting bogged down in the political nonsense that has plagued Wizards of the Coast for the past couple years. As for the dwindling, shallow end of the 5e fan base, the 5e fearmongers who continue to spout out nonsense and insults and threats to the OSR and continue to, how the OGL is going to be destroyed, the OSR is going to be destroyed, the edition wars are over, if you don't play D&D, you're a horrible person. That's not going to go away. The voices are going to get smaller, and they're only going to remain as relevant as people keep paying attention to them. So really, if you're tired of those people rattling their sabers, they're not doing D&D any justice, and they're not doing the OSR any justice. They're just doing it to get attention. So the best way to deal with them is to just ignore them. I mean, let's face it, when the poster child for 5e, Jeannie D, came forward and said even she's not happy with the choices that they're making with OneD&D. Well, I could be wrong. We'll see. I was wrong about Blade Runner. Again, I apologize. So, yeah, that's what's going on with Dragonlance, and that's pretty much all the gaming news going on. Now, we will take a look at the Black Friday sales for any of the gaming sites that have one in another video, but that's it for this one. All the gaming news today seems to be Dragonlance related. And again, I apologize for my little temper tantrum yesterday in regards to the Blade Runner. I'll see you in a few minutes. I got to go look up to see which gaming sites are having gaming related Black Friday sales. And then we'll talk about those, I guess. Don't forget the Steve Cam will be on at some point in time today as soon as I can figure out where to put the camera. See ya.